Hi, welcome to Vet Resources Check-In. My name is Prince Taylor. I am the Deputy Director for the VA Center for Development and Civic Engagement, and I'm very happy to do this. Number one, I'm a Navy vet, and military service probably changed, if not saved, my life when I think about the interesting array of options that many of my peers chose. I was able to get educated. I got to see the world. I bought a home and I met some incredibly wonderful people, including some of my mentors. And I would imagine some of these things happened for you as well. Now, even after I did active duty, I served in the reserves. I was in Cape Girardeau, Missouri, and I remember exactly where I was on September 11th, 2001. I was actually on campus waiting for an appointment when what happened happened. And I was thinking as I was preparing for this that there are young men and women right now in the service who weren't even born that day. So they will never know a world before 9/11, and yet they still are helping to take up the fight. They still chose to help us continue and protect the country. Now, I say that not to suggest that I believe the military is for everyone. It definitely is not, but it is for a special kind of person. And sometimes you don't even realize you're that kind of person until you sign on the dotted line. At least that's how it was for me. So joining the VA was sort of a no-brainer. I find it the best way to be of service to my brothers and sisters at arms. I actually started out as a volunteer. I reviewed and did filing of certifications for a young lady named Frankie in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, while I was between jobs. And now here I am, the deputy director. Um, and I also want to say that maybe there's no place better than a program office like VA Center for Development and Civic Engagement for a veteran who is looking to continue being of service. And I say that because there are so many possibilities. And sometimes you can even come and pitch your own and let us know what your talents are and what you would like to offer. And so if you would like to continue being of service, even while you're in or out, uh, that option is always there for you. Now, there's something else that you should probably know. We changed our name. So if you go into a medical center and say Center for Development and Civic Engagement, some will know what you're talking about. They all should, but many will still think of us as VA Voluntary Service, which was our name this time last year. Now, we had to change our name because the truth of the matter is it didn't quite paint the picture of the breadth of what we do. So we also deal with philanthropy, and we also deal with partnership solutions. You'll find if you spend any time with the VA that there are numerous offices that deal with partnerships. All of us are needed. We all do wonderful work. So what does any of this have to do with our response efforts for our Afghanistan veterans? Well, it kind of goes back to the name change. There's a vast amount of support for our veterans, and we have a role in that. Specifically, we recognize that there are issues that we don't talk about because they're not always clinical issues and they're not the sexy issues to talk about. And they're issues like loneliness and social isolation. I remember when I first got out, the transition was tremendous. There was a lot of loneliness, there was a lot of isolation, but I found my network. And I say this because transition, age, and life itself can exacerbate these things. So what we've done in Center for Development and Civic Engagement is we've created programs to help with these issues. One is an award-winning program called Compassionate Contact Corps. And that's where we have trained volunteers phone veterans each week for friendly conversations. It's like a buddy check. Maybe you might find that you would like one of these phone calls, or maybe you'd like to volunteer to help make these important, impactful phone calls. This is this is this is definitely something that can happen. We have veterans of every conflict that's part of this program, and some of them say, "I would like to talk to another veteran," and we have women vets that say, "I would like to talk to a female vet." And so we always welcome volunteers, especially those that are veterans, but even if they're not, into programs like this. Because to be honest with you, loneliness is a problem that doesn't just affect our veterans, it's affecting people all over the world. But right now, our focus is on reducing the experience of loneliness with our veterans, and you can help with that. And this is also done in conjunction with offices like social work and even our veteran service organizations like American Red Cross, American Legion Auxiliary, Soldiers Angels, and many other organizations. And so we would always welcome you into those types of programs. We also recognize that our women veterans don't always feel welcomed when they come into our medical centers. And I'll tell you this real quick story is this isn't the first time something like this has happened. At the end of World War II, and even during World War II, we had veterans that would come back to the United States and they would see POWs in this country that were treated better than they were. Specifically, I'm talking about our African American veterans. They would go overseas, fight against Nazis, come back to the US, particularly down south, and they would see Nazi POWs that were able to eat in restaurants, go to movie theaters, drink from water fountains that they themselves could not. Now, I share that little history lesson with you. Number one, it's true, it's documented, but things have changed. We've come a long way, but we know that we still have a ways to go. And part of that way is with our women veterans. The fact that they can go to a medical center and not feel welcomed is unsad. So the VA has several programs around the country right now that go by different names. One is called Sister of Sister, another is called the Women Ambassadors Program, and they essentially do the same thing. And what we're working on right now is generalizing those programs, taking the best of all of them and making it national so that wherever you are, whoever you are, as a veteran, when you come to a VA medical center, you know that you're coming into a welcoming environment. So if I could give you any advice, I would say be with those that have positive energy as much as possible. Energy has nothing to do with race, religion, ethnicity, or culture. It's all about being with people who bring out your best. And I would want that for you. Another thing is, another thing would be to, another thing would be to find yourself a community where there's a common mission. And I found that with the VA, a lot of people find it with veteran service organizations. And that also doesn't have to be with the VA, but it should be a network because you will, loneliness is just a fact of life, but you don't want it to be something that continues and continues and continues. Find your tribe. And we're also here for you. We would like to be part of your tribe as well. So I do have one other quick story to tell you. There's a young lady, her name is Jeanette Feldman. She just turned 101 on the 10th of November or the 10th of September. And she's the one who told me some of these stories about World War II because her husband was a veteran at the time. And she also told me a story about when she volunteered for the VA up in Baltimore. She was a Red Coat ambassador before we had that term. And those are just the people that sit up front of the medical centers and they help direct you and guide you to your appointments. And she said that one time she was there and she was sort of all alone at the desk and a gentleman came in. He was blind and he was looking for his appointment, but he did not know how to get there. And there happened to be a veteran that was there and he had lost a limb. And so he only had one leg and he was there and she didn't have a way to get the blind guy to his appointment. And the other guy said, "Don't worry, I'll get him there." And she said, "How are you going to do that?" And he said, "Just watch me." And he went up to the gentleman. He said, "Put your hand on my shoulder." The guy put his hand on his shoulder and off they went. And the reason why that was so significant is because Ms. Feldman saw some of the things, some of those injustices that I just mentioned in real time. And then in the 80s or 90s or even the early 2000s, she saw this. And it was very impactful to her because the blind gentleman was Black, African American, and the gentleman that only had one leg was white. And she thought to herself that that would not have happened decades earlier, 20, 30, 40 years ago. And so I say that to say that, we haven't gotten to where we want to be, but we are so much further than where we were. And you are always welcome to be a part of that. And we look forward to hearing from you. Thanks for watching. Thanks for your tremendous service. And we hope to see you soon. Thank you.